शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर रक्ष मां 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 शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर रक्ष माम्
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Sharada Sharadamboja Vadana Vadanambuje Sarvata Sarvata Asmakam Sannijam Kriyad Shankarupena Machittam Pankigadam Pudyaya Kinkari Yasha Shamhaya Shankaracharyamashaye Om Bharati Karunapatram Bharati Padabhushanam Bharati Padamarudam Bharati Chittamashaye Vidya Vinaya Sampannam Vita Ragam Vivekinam Vande Vedanta Tattvatni Vidushekhara Bharatim Sadguru Sharanaravindrabhyam Namaha Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Good afternoon, all of you. Thank you so much for joining again. This is a lecture series on Sanatana Dharma called Vande Vidya Shankaram. It's been doing it for 3 years, and today's session will be in Nyaya and Dharma Sastra. Dr. Jambunathan is here. He's going to take it away. He's going to start talking about Dharma Sastra specifically today. So without much ado, and this is the last such session for 2025. So thank you so much for joining us. And Dr. Jambunathan, please take it away.
Thank you, Samaji, and thank you all for joining. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Sadirbhujam Prasannavadaram Dhyayet Vighnopaşantiye Jnananandamayam Devam Nirmala Spatikakritim Adaram Sarva Vidyanam Hayagrim Upasmahem Sharada Sharadam Bhojapadana Vadanam Bhuje Sarvada Sarvadasmakam Sannidhim Kriyat Sadashiva Shamarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Gurum Paramparam Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. So we will be continuing with our Manusmriti topic, and we are on the third chapter of Manusmriti. I'll be sharing the slides of that too. Just a minute. Are you able to see well, Soma? Soma, are you able to see the slide?
Yes, we can see. Go ahead. Thank you.
So we are on the third chapter, Manusmriti. Manusmriti has 12 chapters. We have covered the first 2 chapters. The third chapter is all on the Grahastha Dharmas. And we were they talked about marriage, Vivaha ceremony, and then also a brief introduction to what are the daily activities of individuals in terms of following the Dharma Shastras to spiritually elevate us. And it is about 2670 slokas in total. Each chapter has different variations like Bhagavad Gita. But usually we talk with some slokas with Bhagavad Gita and try to bring relevance them to the Manusmriti. Today I thought about sharing a few slokas from the 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Shraddhatre Vibhaga Yoga, because there is a very nice statement by Swami Chinmayananda when he mentions about Gita. Gita is only 700 slokas, 18 chapters, as most of you know. And he said that though it has only 700 slokas and each verse is a small 2-line verse, it actually covers the entire gambit of Hinduism. And it will be very, very interesting. The more you, like Adi Shankara says, Gita snane dine dine, Mala nirmochanam, he says, when you take a jalasnanam, it says you remove the dirt of the body, Mala nirmochanam. Whereas when you take a bath in the Gita daily, Gita snane dine dine, samsara malanasanam. He says even the dirt of samsara goes away. So the daily bath removes the dirt from your body. The daily bath in the Gita removes the fear of samsara itself, which is the cycle of birth and death is removed. And so every time you read Gita, it gives you new meaning. So I will start with the 17th chapter, the Shraddhatre Vibhaga Yoga, and then you will realize why I'm telling these slokas today. It says, okay, I'm talking about 17th chapter, 11th sloka. Afala kankshibir yajño vidhi drishto ya ijyate yashtavyam eveti manaha samadaya sa satvikah. Afala kankshibir yajño vidhi drishto ya ijyate yashtavyam eveti manaha samadaya sa satvikah. Sloka number 12. Abhisandayatu phalam dambartam api chaivayate ijjate bharadashreshta tamyagyam vidhi rajasam. Sloka number 13. Vidhihinam asrushtanam mantrahinam adakshinam shraddha virahitam yagyam tamasam parichakshate. And sloka 14. Deva Dvija Guru Pragya Pujanam Shaushamarjavam Brahmacharyam Hahimsacha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. So when Lord Krishna describes in the 17th chapter Shraddhatre Vibhaga Yoga, he describes everything in 3 categories. What is sattvic, what is rajasic, and what is tamasic. Sattvic food, rajasic food, tamasic food. Sattvic tapas, rajasic tapas, tamasic tapas. Sattvic yajna, rajasic yajna, tamasic yajna. Sattvic speak, rajasic speech, tamasic speech. So everything he puts into these 3 categories. What is sattvic speech? What is sattvic food? What is sattvic yajna? What is sattvic tapas? And there he puts the category for yajna. Afala kankshibir yajño vidhi drishtoya yijyate yashtavyam eveti manaha samadaya sa satvikah. So the yajna which is performed, afala means phalam means fruit, afala means without expectation of fruit, vidhi drishto following all the rules to the book, that is called a satvika yajna, and that is the one which gives you the peace of, and the yashtavyam eveti manaha means I will finish it. Once I started, I'm going to finish it. So following the rules, resolute performance without expectation of the fruit of the yajna, that is called satvika yajna. Abhisamdayatu phalam dambartam api chaivayat. Abhisam, which is always hankering of the fruits. Abhisamdayatu phalam, running always after the fruits of the yajna. Dambartam api chaivayat dambartam means for show. I am the big performer. Nobody can perform like me. Dambartam means doing with pride and ostentation. Ijjate bharada shreshtam tu yajnam vidhi rajasam. That yajna is called a rajasic yajna. In fact, Vyasa Maharishi even at one time tells Yudhishthira, the Rajasuya yajna which you performed in presence of Krishna, you did with a little Rajasic tendency, Yudhishthira, that's why you have to lose your kingdom. That's one of the statements which Vyasa Maharishi makes in Devi Bhagavatam. To Yudhishthira, that statement comes, Yudhishthira, I think you did your Rajasuya yajna in Indraprastha with lot of pride, and that is the reason I think you lost your kingdom after that to Duryodhana. So that is a statement there. Vidhihinam asrushtanam, mantrahinam adakshinam. Vidhihinam means not following the rules. Asrushtanam, not serving food. Mantrahinam, not telling the mantras properly or uttering them wrongly. Adakshinam, without giving dakshina. Shraddha Virahitam, not having any dedication or any faith. Yajnam Tamasam Parichakshate. That yajna which is called in this rule. So yajna which doesn't follow the rules, yajna where there is no food is served, yajna where there is mantras are not uttered properly, no dakshina is given, no faith in the yajna, but still performing the yajna, that is called tamasic yajna. Deva, Dvija, Guru, Pragya, Pujanam, Shaushamarjavam. One who always prays to Devas, Dvijas, the Brahmanas. This is very, very important. One who always worships the Devas, the Dvijas, the Gurus, and the Prajna, and always says pure. Arjavam is straightforward. Purity is mental purity, physical purity. Arjavam is straightforwardness. You don't have hypocrisy, having one thing in your mind, telling out thing. Brahmacharyam ahimsa, and following the strict brahmacharya, control of senses, and ahimsa, non-injury. Shashariram tapa uchyate. That is called the tapas of the sharira, the bodily trance. So Deva, Dvija, Guru, Pragya, Pujanam. So always worshipping the Devas, the Dvijas, the Brahmanas, and the Guru and the Pragya Pujanam. So that's why you will come to the relevance of these slokas, as we say, because that's why when we talk about some nuances of this has to be done this way, this has to be done that way, without questioning, the Shastras tell it, you do it that way. That's what Krishna says, doing it along with vidhi drishto. And he condemns without doing is as tamasam. So this one is there, and then I want to tell few slokas from the 14th sloka, which is the Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. The 17th chapter is Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. The 14th chapter is Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, where Krishna actually defines all the three gunas in great detail. And there I'm going to pick up certain slokas. In fact, Arjuna asked sloka number 21, 14th chapter, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, 21st sloka. Arjuna Uvacha. Kairlingai strin guna netan atito bhavati prabho kim acharha katam chaitams strin gunan ativartate. He asks, Kairlingai strin gunan etan atito bhavati prabho kim acharha katam chaitams strin gunan ativartate. You keep on talking about gunas, and you also talk about somebody who has gone beyond the gunas. So Arjuna is asking at the 21st sloka, okay, you told me what is Sattvic Guna, you told me what is Rajasic Guna, you told me what is Tamasic Guna, but at the same time, you're also telling me somebody can go beyond these three gunas also. Guna Atita means going beyond the gunas. How does that, can you tell me how does the person behave, one who is gone beyond the gunas, the Gunatita? And it's very interesting. If you read Swami Vidyaranya's Jivan Mukti Viveka, he actually quotes all these slokas in the definition of Gunatita. It directly takes the Bhagavad Gita sloka and puts it in the Jivan Mukti Viveka first chapter. So, Sri Bhagavan Nuvacha, Prakasham cha pravrittim cha mohameva cha pandava nadveshti sampravrittani nanvrittani kangshabi udasinavat asino gunairiona vichalyate guna vartante ityeva yo avatishtati nengate samadukka swastaya samaloštashma kanchanaha tulya priya apriyo dhiras tulya ninda atma samstutihi mana apamanayo tulyo mitra aripakshayoho sarvaramba parityagi gunatidasa uchyate mamchayo abhyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitaitan brahmabhuyaya kalpate brahmanohi pradrishtahim amrudasya avyayasya cha shashvadasya dharmasya sukasya ikhantikasya cha. So those are the last 7 slokas of the 14th chapter. And the reason I'm telling you that sloka is, he says, Mana apamanayos tulyo mitra aripakshayoho sarvaramba parityagi gunatitasa uchyate. So he says, one who treats mana and apamana, which is praise and insult, as the same, tulya, he keeps in the balance, and tulyo mitra aripakshayo, who treats his friend and the enemy equally, sarvaramba parityagi, was given up all undertakings, that is called a gunatita. So the reason I am telling this sloka is, sarvaramba parityagi is a very important, which means you have to take sannyasa. Only that sannyasi is not obligated to perform all these duties. So sarvaramba parityagi, one who can treat praise and honor equally, one who can treat a friend and an enemy equally, and one who has given sankalpas to perform anything that person can be called a Gunatita Arjuna. That's what is one of the definitions. He gave 6 definitions, but one of the definitions is that. So unless you go to the state of Sarvarambha Parityagi, you have to do all the rituals. And when you have to do all the rituals, you have to go to the 17th chapter. Krishna says, follow all the rules. So with that introduction, because when we talk about the nuances, select this, do this way, do that way, then we know why it is to be that way. So the two points are, unless you reach the stage of Sarvarambha Parityagi, you should do this. And when you do this, you should do it following all the rules and regulations. So with that, let me start with the slokas today. Durad eva parikshete brahmanam vedaparagam tirtam tad havyakavyanam pradanesu atiti smritaha. So that is the sloka number 130, 3rd chapter, Manusmriti. Duradeva pariksheta brahmanam vedaparagam tirtam tad havyakavyanam pradanesu atiti smritaha. He says, says that Duradeva, you should pariksheta means you should actually test the Brahmana from a distance. Not testing means sitting near him. You should observe him from a distance for some time. Veda Paragam means one who has learnt the end of the Vedas. Not just the first one, only Purusha Suktam he knows. No, you should know the end of the Vedas. That kind of a Brahmana you should choose. And you should not choose immediately. You should observe him at a distance and make sure he is following all the regulations. All the regulations will come, because Brahmana means one who is a true Brahmana will follow Achara. Achara Prabho Dharmaho Dharmasya Prabhurachyutaha. Prabhurachyut. That's what Vishnu says. Achara Prabho Dharmaha Dharmaha Prabhuachyutaha. So of all the dharmas, following the Achara is most important. And so Achara is all the rules of purity and all that stuff. Anushtanas means doing all the homas, yajnas, pujas, japas, all those are anushtanas. And upavasas, following the rules and regulations of eating the food. So Brahmana is not only one who knows the Vedas and the Shastras, but also follows acharas, anushtanas, upavasas, and also has good qualities. So those good qualities also will be listed in this. So they had a very, very high standard for Brahmanas those days. You should be well learned. You should have all good qualities. You should be following all the achara, all the anushtana. Such a Brahmana is the one who is eligible for getting all these danas. And if you do to that Brahmana, you get all the merits. So that is what is as we go through the slokas, Manu will be repeating that. So Brahmanas are ones who are well learned. They should be knowledgeable in all fields, just not on one field. Sarva Sastra, Sarva Sastra, it will come. I will read that sloka too. They should be masters of all fields of knowledge. They should have all good qualities in them. They should be following all the acharas and anushtanas. For that Brahmana is eligible for everything. So those are things he says should be observing from a distance. Means, okay, this Brahmana is well learned. He is also having good quality. He is a Brahmana, but in the evening he goes and drinks in the wine shop, means that is not good achara. Okay, you can exclude that Brahmana. So that is example. So that's what it means. Dura Deva means observe him and then choose him. Sahasram hi sahasranam andrucham yatra bunjate ekastan mantra vit preetah sarvan arhati dharmatah. Sahasram hi sahasranam andrucham yatra bunjate ekastan mantravid preetah sarvan arhati dharmatah. So what Manu says is, Sahasrami Sahasrana means thousands and thousands of people. Andrucha means one who are not in having knowledge or knowledge of the Vedas in particularly. If thousands and thousands of people without knowledge of the Vedas eat, whereas ekastan mantravid pritah, one person who has got all the knowledge of the mantras eat, sarvan arhati dharmatah, you will get all the benefits. So you don't need to be feeding thousands and thousands. That's a popular statement. Annadanam is good. You should feed the poor, no doubt about it. But feeding a mantra with one who is well versed in the mantras and all the rules, feeding that kind of the Brahmana, you will get all the sarvan arhati dharmatah. Arhati means you will be eligible for getting all the blessings and all the benefits. So sloka number 132. Jnana Utkrishtaya Deyani Kavyani cha Havishim cha Nahi Hastavashrigdigdau Rudire Neva Sudyataha. Jnana Utkrishtaya Deyani Kavyani cha Havishim cha Nahi Hastavashrigdigdau Rudire Neva Sudyataha. The last statement is very telling. Hastavashrigdau means let's say your hand is covered with blood. And then to wash that, you should be using very clear water or soap and other things to wash the hand which is stained with blood. You cannot use blood to wash the blood off. There are some times where you can give poison to remove poison. There is one statement which, especially when Apay Dikshidhar quotes, that when the final stage of Nirguna Brahman comes, there is the statement where you can remove poison by poison. But there are some times where you can use one poison to nullify another poison. But in general, for having, if your hand is stained with blood, you are not going to pour more blood into the hand to wash your hand. You got to do something exactly opposite to that to wash your hands. So that's what he's telling is Jnana Utkrishtaya, one who is very advanced in knowledge. Deyani, if you give dana to that person doing kavyas and havi. Kavya means Havya means giving for the devas is called Havyam. And the Agni who takes care is called Havya Vahana. And Kavya means giving to the Pitrus, Kavya Vahana. So the same Agni is called Havya Vahana when he takes the offerings to the Devas. And the same Agni is called Kavya Vahana when he takes the offerings to the Pitrus. So to give it to the, when you are doing this Kavyams and Havimshi means Havyam is again for Devas. So in Pitru Pujanam and Deva Pujanam, if you choose a Brahmana who is very advanced in knowledge, that person alone can give you the benefit. You cannot choose somebody low level. So basically, by choosing a low level person, because you are doing all these Pitru karmas and Deva karmas to wash off your bad karmas. So if you give it to a very low level person, you cannot wash your bad karmas. That's what Manu is telling. You cannot wash blood with blood. So you are already stained with bad karmas. You have to remove your bad karmas, and only by offering things to the Jnana Utkrishta Brahmana who is advanced, you will be able to wash yourself of all the karmas, not the other way around. So that's what the sloka 132. Yavato grasate grasan Havya Kavyeshva Amantravite Tavato Grasate Preto Deepa Shudashtayo Yogudan. That is a very frightening statement from Manu. Sometimes he will do that, and to emphasize the points. Some of them you might have to take it a literal value, some of them you have to take it the real value. Yavato grasate, the first the statement before is, you have to take it the real value. You cannot wash blood with blood. This might be a little exaggerated statement, but I will explain that. Yavato grasate grasan Havya Kavyesha Amantravite Tavato grasate Preto Deepa Shudashtayo Yogudan. So he says, during the Havyams and Kavyams, which is the Pitru Karmas and the Deva Karmas, Amantravit means you are offering food to somebody who doesn't know the mantras or the values of the mantras or their meanings or anything like that. How much ever food that person eats. So let's say you call somebody to eat your food in your Deva Karmas or Pitru Karmas at your home, and that how much ever food he eats, the same amount of food this guy Preto means after death, the one who is given the food to this person, he has to eat Deepta Shudashtayo Yogudan means the iron ball which is red hot. So he has to swallow this, it seems, in the Naraka. So he says that the more and more food you give to people who are not knowledgeable in the mantras, doing havyas and kavyas, you yourself will be eating red hot iron balls in the Naraka. Preta state means after your death state, you will be doing this in Naraka. So he's warning us, don't choose people who don't know mantras, who don't know the value of these rules, everything. Jnananishta dvija ke chit. Jnananishta dvija ke chit taponishta pare tapaswadhyaya nishtascha karma nishta pare. It is a very good classification gives. Jnananishta dvija ke chit taponishta pare tapaswadhyaya nishtascha karma nishta pare. So 4 groups: Jnananishta, taponishta, tapaswadhyaya nishta, karma nishta. So he puts brahmanas into 4 categories. All these are high quality Brahmanas. These 4 Brahmanas are all high quality Brahmanas. Jnana Nishtha means one who is very well in knowledge. And that Jnana Nishtha, he means not only the theoretical knowledge, he is a Brahmanishta, he can see Brahman. So one who is he's got Atma Jnanam, Brahma Jnanam, that is called a Jnana Nishtha. So that Brahmana is well advanced, that he is like a Jnana Nishtha who is very advanced in knowledge, who can actually see the Brahman itself, or who can experience the Brahman. Taponishtas means one who is doing lot of penance, austerities, is a taponishta. Tapaswadhyaya means one who is doing tapas as well as chanting the Vedas regularly. Swadhyaya means one who is chanting the Vedas regularly. That is called tapaswadhyaya. So he is doing mental tapas as well as chanting the Vedas regularly. Karma nishtas means one who is doing all the Vedic karmas. He does all the yajnas mentioned in the Vedas. Agnihotram, Juhoti, the Niruda Pashubandham, Darshapurna Masam, all these Vedic yajnas is doing regularly. That is called a karma nishta. So all these are high quality Brahmanas. One who is very evolved in spiritual knowledge, one who is very evolved, one who is always doing penances, one who is doing penance and chanting the Vedas, and one who is doing all the Vedic rituals. He gives this classification, then he is going to tell. So basically, you have to choose one of those 4 classifications for all your pujas. So we can see that Jnana Nishteshu Kavyani Pratishtapyani Yatnatah Havyani tu Yata Nyayam Sarveshveva Chaturshvapi. Jnana Nishteshu Kavyani Pratishtapyani Yatnatah. So he says, for Kavyams, which is the Pitru Karmas, which we are talking right now, all the Shraddhams and other things, try to get a Jnana Nishtha, which means of all the 4, Jnana Nishtha, Taponishta, Tapaswadhyaya, Karma Nishtha, the Jnana Nishtha is actually the highest qualified Brahmin. Try to get that kind of a highest qualified Brahmin to this, because there is once you read in the one Dattatreya chapter, Lord Dattatreya himself will come as to do for the Pitru Puja. That is highest, because Dattatreya is called the highest Brahmajnani. To have Dattatreya come and heat in your Pitru yajnas, you will get all benefits. So at one time, Dattatreya will depute Agni and Surya to go to as Brahmanas to go to eat in a yajna. So all these stories will come. So basically, if you get an Atmajnani to eat in your Pitru Karmas, that is you should try to get that one. Yatnata means try to get an effort to get such a kind of a Brahmana to come to your Pitru Karmas. You will get all the benefits. Havyani to yata nyayam sarveshveva chaturshvapi. Whereas Havyani means for all the Deva Karmas, it is also preferable to get Atmajnani, but all 4 is also okay. Which means Taponishta is okay, Tapaswadhyaya is okay, Karmanishta is also okay. So for Deva Karmas, you can choose any of the 4 categories of Brahmanas. But for Pitru Karmas, it is preferable to get Atmajnani. Only if you are not able to get that, you should go to other people. That's exactly what he is telling to tell. So which means you need a more higher quality Brahmin. Of all the high quality Brahmins, you need the highest quality Brahmin to perform the Pitru Karmas. Ashrotyah pita yasya putraha syad veda paragaha ashotriyo va putraha syad pita syad veda paragaha. Says ashotriya pita yasya putra syad veda paragaha ashotriyo va putraha syad pita syad veda paragaha. So he says, he gives two categories. There might be some families where the father doesn't know any Vedas at all, whereas the son knows the end of the Vedas. Putraha Veda Paraga means one who has seen the end of the Vedas. Same way, Ashotriyova Putraha means the Putra, the son might not be learned in the Vedas, but Pita might be knowing all the end of the Vedas. So you can see all these two, that in some families, the father is well learned, the son is not learned at all in the Vedas. In other, the best example is, if you remember Balakrishna Sastrigal, his son is Mauli. Mauli directs movies, is always on movies only. He doesn't know any Vedas. Whereas Balakrishna Sastrigal is well versed in all Vedas and Shastras and Puranas. People who know Tamil drama and Tamil films know about Mauli and Balakrishna Sastrigal. I'm just giving one example. So Pita can be well versed, son could be not learned the Vedas itself, and other way around also is possible. Why Manu is giving this is, he's going to give a reason. Because first he gave category for Brahmanas, then he says who to choose for Pitru Karmas. Now he's again, he says there are two categories of people you might come across. Jyayam samanayor vidyad yasya shat shrotriya pita mantra sampujanartam tu satkaram itaro arhati. Jyayam samanayor vidyad yasya shat shrotriya pita mantra sampujanartam tu satkarma itaro arhati. He says, if you have to choose between those two people, let's say you have a one Brahmin, father is learned, but the son is not learned. Otherwise, son is learned, father is not learned. Choose the one. You can still choose Mauli to do puja in your home. That's what he's telling basically. If the father is well versed in all the Vedas, even if the son is not well versed, you can still choose that son for doing a puja in your home. The other way around, father is not well versed, son is well versed, you can give him respect, but it's still second category. So if you have to choose, if you have two of these people standing in front of your house, you have to pick one of them to do the pitru karmas. You have to pick the first one. It says that is so. He says because he will tell Pitru, Pitamaha, Prabhitamaha, all three. One Brahmana where he is well learned, his father is well learned, his grandfather is well learned, that is the highest category. If you can get such kind of a Brahmana where all the three are well learned in the Vedas, that is the best. That also will come when we discuss things. But if you nowadays it's not easy to get that kind of people. So he says, as long as the father himself knows the end of the Vedas, the son is not that you can still choose him. But the other way around, if you have somebody who the son is well learned, the father is not learned, you can use him when there is no other option between these two. So you can still respect him. He says, because of his learning, Satkaram Itaro Arhati, you can still respect him and also consider him. But if you have to choose the other one. Na Shrade Bojaye Mitram, Danair Karyo Asya Sankaragaha, Na Arim Na Mitram Yam, Vidyatam Shrade Bojaye Dvijam. Na Shrade Bojaye Mitram, Danai Karyo Asya Sankaraha, Na Arim Na Mitram Yam, Vidyatam Shrade Bojaye Dvijam. So it says, now he says, choosing friends. You have a lot of friends who are Brahmins, whether you can use your friends to do the pujas. He is very strongly condemning it here, but when he goes down the road, he says you can actually use your friend when there is no other option. Also, he will give that option to Manu. See, because Manu covers the entire Manvantra, so he will give options available from Krita Yuga to Kali Yuga will be covered in Manusmriti most of the times. So he will give options to down the road that you can use a friend too, but he is telling, don't try to get your friend itself and give all the dakshina to your friend. You can just give Danai Karya. If you want to maintain friendship, you can give gifts separately to him. You can take care of your friend separately. You can give money to him, everything. But don't choose him specifically for coming to your house to do Pitru Karmas and other things and give dakshina through them and try to maintain friendship through that or support your friendship through that. Na Arim, na Mitram. Arim means enemy, Mitram is friend. Try to choose a friend who is. So don't choose your friend, don't choose your enemy. And he will come to let, if you are a friend and enemy to choose, always choose the friend. He says enemy should always be avoided. But now he is telling, if you have choose a person who is neither your close friend nor your enemy, and that is the very optimal situation for eating in the Shraddha Karmas in the home. For Boje, because in the if you perform the Shraddham, you have to perform the Homam first, then you have to perform the Pinda Pradhanam, then you have to do the Brahmana Bhojanam. Those are the different steps in the Shraddham. So for feeding the Brahmanas in the Bhojanam, try to choose a person who is neither your close friend nor your enemy. That is the most optimal choice. So he's giving different categories how to choose Brahmanas for pujas in your home. Yasya mitra pradhanani shraddhani cha havishim cha tasya pretya phalam nasti shradeshu cha havishu cha. So yasya mitra pradhanani shraddhani cha havishim cha tasya pretya phalam nasti shradeshu cha havishu cha. So he says, if you choose your friend to come and do Shraddham at your home, and also Havishimchi means doing Deva Yajnas also at your home, then Tasya Pretya means after your death, Phalam Nasti, you won't get any benefit, because according to our Vedas, if you do certain karmas, you will get most of the benefits only after death. Some of them you will get during your lifetime itself, but the whole idea is the Punya Papa accumulates for you. So the doing more and more Vaidhi karmas builds up your Punya bank to get you a higher birth or a higher loka after death. So he is telling tasya pretya phalam nasti. So, but if you keep on choosing your friends to do Shraddham and Deva Yajnas to your home and thereby supporting only your friends, for that person, Pretya, after death, Phalam Nasti, you won't get the benefit of Shraddha and Havishu. He will maintain friendship by living in the world, but after death, he won't get any benefit. Sangatani Kurute, Mohat Shraddena Manavaha, Saswargat Shyavate Lokat, Shraddhamitro Dvija Adamaha. Sangatani Kurute, Mohat Shraddena Manavaham, Swargash Chavate Lokat, Shraddhamitro Dvija Adamaha. Shraddhamitro, that's a term Manu uses. If you are using your friend to do the Shraddham, Dvija Adamaha, I mean you are a Brahmin, but you are a lower class Brahmin. Adamaha means you are a lower class Brahmin, one who is always choosing only his friends to do Shraddham and everything in his house. That Brahmin is you are the one who is calling his friend, the person, the host is Adama, and Sarga Chavate Loka. So after he will be pushed away from heaven, he won't get heavens as expected. So for these people who are always choosing only their friends to do this, Pitru karmas and Deva karmas, that particular person will be thrown out of heaven or will not be able to enter into heaven after his death. That's what so first said, he said you won't get any benefit. He's kind of repeating in another way that you will be pushed out of heaven if you keep on doing that. Sambhojanani sabhihita paishashchi dakshina dvijaha ihaivaste tu sa loke gaure andevekeva smani. So he says Sambhojanani sabhihita paishashchi dakshina dvijaihi ihaivastu sa loke gaura andevaika shamani. So gaura andevaika means, he gives all these similes. Gaura Andevaika means the cow which is blind. So let's say you have a cow in your house which is blind and it is sitting in its cattle shed, and the Matukote Tamil. Let's say there is you have a house and you have a cow in your house and the cow is blind and is sitting in the cattle shed. The cow which is blind can't go anywhere. It will be just sitting only in the same place because it doesn't know where to go. Directions are not there. So the cow basically says, the blind cow, for that matter, any blind animal will have to sit in the same place unless it gets help from something else or it has some extra sensory perception it can use to move. So he says, same way, what he is trying to explain is, Gaure and Shamani means is a very good simile. When you are doing all these Vedic karmas, there is an underlying punya which builds up. And this punya either will give you a better birth in the next janma or will give you a higher loka to you after death. Those is the kind of our Hindu beliefs are there. And Krishna also explains all the Swarga, everything even in the Gita. So Gita doesn't exclude all those things. People think Gita only talks about action. Gita clearly talks about heaven, hell, everything is talked about in Gita. In the 16th chapter, Krishna talks about hell. He talks about heaven in certain chapters. Everything is mentioned. But he says, though heaven and hell also are not permanent, he mentions that, but he clearly mentions heaven, hell, everything is very clearly spelled out by Lord Krishna. We cannot tell that Krishna didn't talk about those things. So, when you do this, your punyas, only if your punyas are built up, you can have a better birth in the next janma or you can go to higher loka. But if you are not having any punyas built up, you are stuck in the same place. It's like same thing is telling. One who keeps on feeding his friends, that is all, and giving dakshina. First of all, it's called paisasa dakshina, which is like pishasha dakshina. It is not even called a sattvic dakshina. And it is like cow in the blind cow sitting in the cattle shed. It cannot move anywhere. Same way, you are also stuck in this place. You will not get a higher birth or a higher loka or those things. So that's what is kind of explained by Gaure Andeveka Shamani, equal to the blind cow. Yata irine bija muptva navapta lavate phalam tata andruche havirdatva nadata labate phalam. Yata irine bija muptva navapta lavate phalam tata andruche havirdatva nadata labate phalam. So again he is telling, if you choose the wrong brahmana, so the wrong brahmanas means one he said the Jnana Nishta, Tapo Nishta, Tapaswadhyaya, Karma Nishta, those are all the high quality Brahmins. Then he's talking about friends and enemies. So you have to choose both. You have to choose a Brahmana who is a Karma Nishta or a Tapo Nishta or a Jnana Nishta. At the same time, that Brahmin should not be a very close friend or enemy. So you have to choose the right person to come and do the pujas in your house. If you don't choose the right Brahmin, how it means, he's giving another example. He gave the example of the cow, the blind cow sitting in the cattle shed, how it is stuck there, it can't move. Here is giving Bija Mukta means, Irine means in a dry land, in a very bad soil, if you sow the seeds, you will not get any. You normally, if you sow a seed, you want it to go into a plant or a tree and give you some fruits or grains or something like that. That's your expectation when you sow a seed in a fertile soil. But if you sow the seed in a barren soil, you will not get any benefits at all. Same way, Andruche means one who doesn't know the Vedas or the Shastras. For that person, if you keep on giving Dakshina, you will also not get any benefit. Like if you sow seeds on a barren land, you won't get any fruits. Same way, if you keep feeding the unlearned and the ignorant people, you won't get any benefit. That's what it says here. Datrun pratigrahartimscha kurute falabhaginaha vidushe dakshinam datva vidivat pretya cha. Datrun pratigrahirtrimscha kurute falabhaginaha vidushe dakshinam datva vidivat pretya cha iha cha. So the pretya cha iha cha means, pretya means after death. Iha means right in this loka. So you have to get benefits when you are living now, and you also have to get benefits after your death. That is the ideal situation. When you do something, you want to get good benefits when you are living. Iha means right now, and pretya means after death when you become pretas. So you know when you get that benefit, vidushe dakshinam datva, one to a very learned Brahmin who is neither your close friend nor your enemy. For that Brahmin, if you keep doing dakshinas, doing havyas and kavyas, datrun and pratigrahan. Datrun means one who is the giver. Pratigrahan means one who is the receiver. Both of them will actually get benefited. So if you choose, and that's again, does Krishna mention it very clearly when he talks about dana, satpatram? Pick up the right person to give the dana, right satpatram, right time. Krishna clearly spells all this in the Bhagavad Gita. So given Krishna tells everything, how to give dana also is Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita. We just have to read the Bhagavad Gita, all slokas. We can't just take what we like and throw what we don't like. So Krishna clearly means satpatram, you should get the dana to the right person. Same thing. When you give dakshina to the correct person, you will get benefit here and as well as after that. Both the giver and the receiver will get the benefit if it is given in the right way to the right person. Kamam shraddhen archen mitram na abhirupamapi tvarim dvishatahi havir bhuktam bhavati pretya nishphalam. Kamam shraddhen archen mitram na abhir rupam api tu arim dvishatahi havir bhuktam bhavati pretya nishphalam. So he says, now he is coming to the second category. He says, let's say there is a place, you know only 5 Brahmins, and out of the 5 Brahmins, 3 of them are your close friends, 2 of them you don't know well or they are enemies. Only these 5 people are available for you in your town or village to pujas. Then you have no choice. Then you can't choose somebody who is neither a friend nor an enemy. You have to choose only somebody, because it's only a small place, only 5 Brahmins are there, 3 of them are your friends, 2 of them you don't know or they are your enemies. Then in that case, you can choose your between a friend and enemy, you can choose your friend. Even if the enemy is very to arim means mitram is friend, arim is enemy. So arim means, so if you have, even if the enemy is well qualified, abhirupam api means equally qualified as your mitram. Abhirupam api means very equally qualified in terms of knowledge and character, everything, but for some reason he is your enemy, you can choose the friend to do your shraddham, but not your enemy. Because again, if your enemy eats your food, you will have pretya nishphalam. There will be no benefit after death, which means you might get benefit here in this loka. He might turn friendly to you and he might not be behaving bad to you, but so pretya, there will be no benefit after your death. So that's what Manu is telling. So if there is no choice, you can choose your friend, but don't choose your enemy. Yatnena bojayet shraddhe bhakvrucham vedaparagam sakantakam atu advaryam chandogam tu samaptikam. This is a very, very telling statement. Yatnena bojayet shraddhe bhakvrucham vedaparagam shakantakam ate advaryam chandogam tu samaptikam. So he says, ideally, you should choose a person. Bahvrujam Vedaparagam. Bahvrucha is the other name of Rig Veda. One who knows the end of the Rig Veda, or Shakantakam Ati Advaryum. Advaryu is the name of people who follow the Yajurveda. So Advaryu, Hota, Udgatra, Brahmana, those are all terms you will learn when you do Vedic Yajnas. But Advaryu is the one who follows the Yajurveda. Shakantakam means in Yajurveda there is multiple shakas. You should know at least one shaka fully. Shakantagam means the end of the shaka. You should know the full shaka fully. Shaka means branch. Veda shaka means the branch of the Vedas. So you should know at least one shaka or multiple shakas of the Yajurveda. Chandogam to Samaptikam means, or somebody who is well versed in Chandogam. Chandogam is the other name of Samaveda. In fact, the Upanishad in Samaveda is called Chandogya Upanishad itself. Chandogam is the other name of Samaveda. Bhakvrucham is the other name of Yajurveda. Chandogam is the other name of Samaveda. So somebody who knows the end of Rig Veda, or who has mastered the shakas of the Yajurveda, or who knows the end of the Samaveda, those are the Yatnena, means try to work hard on getting somebody who has one of these categories. He is telling Yatnena means put your efforts in getting such kind of a Brahmana, Shraddhe, for eating Shraddha Bhojanam. No, for Bhojanam in your Shraddham, try to get somebody who was one of those three. And there is a sloka which will come. If you have to choose between the three, choose the Samaveda. I will read that sloka also. It won't come in Manusmriti, but it is mentioned in Smriti Muktapalam. Between the Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda is the superior for Pitru Bhojanam. Esha Manyatamo Yasya Bunjita Shradhamarchitaha Pitrunam Tasya Triptihi Shat Shaswati Shapta Paurushi. Esha Manyatamo Yasya Bunjita Shradhamarchitaha Pitrunam Tasya Triptihi Shat Shaswati Shapta Paurushi. Shashwati means eternally. Sapta Paurishi means 7 generations. If you choose somebody who has mastered the Rig Veda or the Yajurveda or the Samaveda, and if you feed them during the Shraddha Bhojanam, 7 generations will be satisfied. Normally, we do Shraddha, we do only for 3. Pitru Pitamaha, Prapitamaha, only you invoke and do the puja. But what Manu is telling is, if you choose somebody who knows the end of Rig Veda, Yajurveda, or Samaveda, and if you feed him during the Shraddha Bhojanam, 7 generations of the Pitrus will be eternally satisfied. That is what is mentioned. So that is why the selection of the Brahmana is very important. One who knows the Vedas, knowledgeable, one who has the gunas, one who has the Achara, Anushtana. The more you get that kind of person, and he is neither your friend nor your enemy, if you get that kind of person and feed one Shraddham, 7 generations of your Pitrus will be satisfied. Esa vai pratamah kalpah pradane havyakabhyoho anukalpastavyam nyeyah shada shadbir anushtitaha. Esha vai pratamah kalpah pradane havyakabhyoho anukalpastavyam nyeyah sada sadbir anushtitaha. So what Manu is telling in sloka number 147 is, I have told you the pradama kalpam, which means the main rules for the Havya Kavyaho, means for performing the Havya, Deva Karmas and Pitru Karmas, how to select Brahmanas. I already given the main rules. Anukalpasta, now I am giving you the secondary rules. These are not very important like the primary rules, but Sadbir Anushtita means some well-versed rishis also consider these rules as important. Anukalpa, but I am going to put them as Anukalpam, not Pradama Kalpam. Not the primary important factors, but as secondary factors. Now, I already told you the primary factors. Now, I am going to tell you the secondary factors according to some of the rishis who have told it. Sada, Sadbir, Anushtita means all these people who have done all these Anushtanas, they include these also as some important criteria for choosing Brahmins. Mata Maham, Matulam Cha, Swastriyam, Swashuram Gurum, Dauhitram Vitpatim Bandum, Ritvig Yajyo Sabojayet. Matamaham, Matulam, Sa Swashriyam, Swasuram, Gurum, Dauhitram, Vitpatim, Bandhum, Ritvik, Yajav, Sabojayet. So you can also choose your maternal grandfather. For example, if you are at your home and your maternal grandfather is still alive, you can have him eat in the Shraddha Bhojana. Matulam, your maternal uncle, is also okay to eat. Swastriyam, your sister's son, is also welcome to eat. Swasuram, your own father-in-law, can eat in the Shraddha Bhojana. Guru, your guru also can eat. So if all the other people are not available, so you're assuming you don't have the right Brahmins as mentioned in the last 10 to 12 slokas, these are also acceptable categories. Dauhitram, which is son's daughter. In fact, Dauhitram is given big importance. Daughter's son. Daughters, if you have a daughter and the daughter has a son, that daughter's son eating in the Shraddha is considered very high category, because one of the 7 important things which is needed in the, when you are praying Shraddha karmas, it says, Shivanirmalyam, which is the Ganga Jalam is there, Vapanam, which is the bees vomiting, the honey is there, Sweta Parpadam, the white silk is there, and then Uchishtam, which is the cow milk which has been tainted by the calf first, and then so you get the Uchishtam calf is there, and then you choose the Aparhanna Kalam, which is the Madhyaniya Kalam, to do the Shastras, and then Dauhitram, you have chosen uh, the daughter's son, which is your grandson, but your daughter's son to eat. There's like 7 of these are listed. If you choose all these 7, your Shraddha is of high quality. So it says if you're able to get Ganga Jalam, if you're able to get honey, if you are able to get the milk which has been already uchistam of the calf has drunk, and then after the calf has drunk you get the milk. For Deva Karmas, you have to get the milk directly from the cow. The calf should not eat first. But after the calf has eaten, you get the milk. That's very appropriate for Pitru Karmas. So the Uchishtam, Sweta, you have to wear a white silk. You have to use Rajatam, the silver plates, and then you have Dauitran to eat there. So like this 7 things are listed. What is the things for Shraddha material? So Dauhitram, I want to emphasize, though Manu puts it as a second category here, Dauhitran is actually given very big importance in Shraddha. I remember this because when my father, my maternal grandfather Narayanan, and my mother is Sita. When after my maternal grandfather died, I used to be staying doing medical college. Specifically, the Brahmanas will call Raja to come and eat this Brahman. They pull me from my medical college to come and eat Bhojana in my Tata's because he says he was one of the pet grandsons and he's the son. He's the son of the daughter. He should come and eat in this Shraddham. So I have ate so many times in my maternal grandfather's Shraddha. Dauhitram is given so importance there. Matamahan Matulam Swasriyam Sasram Gurum. Dauhitram Vitpadim Bandhum Ritvig Yajo Sabojayet. So those are all. And Vitpati means your son-in-law also can come and eat. Bandhum, other relatives can come and eat. Ritvik, one who is always a Ritvik, who is always participating in yajnas and other things. Those Ritviks are also. So these are all other options Manu is giving, but he's telling these are secondary options. Remember, he says I'm giving you secondary options. So these are all secondary options for people for eating in Shraddha Bhojanam. Mata Mahan, Matulam, Swasriyam, Swasuram, Gurum, Dauhitram, Vitpatim, Bandhum, Ritvik, Yajos, Bhojayet. Na Brahmanam Parikshete, Daive Karmani Dharmavite, Pitre Karmani tu Prapte, Parikshete, Prayatnataha. Is again repeating the same statement. Like if you remember the sloka number 130, Dura Deva Parikshete means you should observe the Brahmana from a distance, whether he's having all good qualities. So he's again telling the same thing here. For Daiva Karmas also it is important to look at the Brahmins, but for Pitru Karmas, very important, they should have Prayatnataha means you should, by effort, you should get only high quality Brahmanas for doing Pitru Karmas. You should, he says, you don't need to observe Brahmins for Daiva Karmani. In Smriti Mukta Palam, Vaidyanatha Dikshar actually takes this sloka and he gives an explanation telling even for Daiva Karmas, you are supposed to test the Brahmanas, but it doesn't need to be as detailed testing as you do for Pitru Karmas. For Pitru Karmas, it's always better to get a high quality Brahmin who is following the rules. You should do by effort, you should try to get such kind of Prayatna. That means you should do Prayatnam to get such kind of a Brahmana to come and eat. So I will do these 2 slokas and then I will quickly spend last 10 minutes from Smriti Mukta Palam where nicely Vaidyanatha Dikshar summarizes all these things. Estena Padita Kliba ये च नास्तिका वृत्तयः तान् हव्यकव्ययोर्विप्राणम् अनर्हान् मनु अब्रवीत्। ये स्तेना पतिता क्लिबा ये च नास्तिकवृत्तयः तान् हव्यकव्ययोर्विप्रान् अनर्हान् मनु अब्रवीत्. He says 4 groups. Stena means one who is a thief. Patita means one who has fallen down, which means he is not following any rules. So though he might be born as a Brahmin, he is a fallen Brahmin. He is not following any rules at all. Kliba means who are eunuchs, which means they are neither male nor female. Some people are like born like that, or transgender, what we call these days. So basically the thieves, one who has completely fallen out of his caste, one who are like transgender group. Nastika vrittayoho means one who has completely no belief in all these. Those 4 people you should not choose at all. He gave categories who to choose, who not to choose. He's specifically telling these 4 for Havya and Kavya. Vipran means Anarhan. They are not eligible. Means Arhan means eligible. Anarhan means not eligible. Manu Abravit. According to Manu, these 4 group of people should not be chosen for Havyas and Kavyas. And Jatilam Chanadiyanam Durbhalam Kitavam Tata Yajayanti Saye Ugam Tamsha Shraddena Bojayet. Jatilam Chanadiyanam Durbhalam Kitavam Tata Yajayanti Saye Pugam Tamsha Shradde Na Bojayet. He is also giving another group, one who has a braided hair or one who is completely bald. So I don't know the importance, but Anadiyana means one who has not learned the Vedas. That is easy. One who has not learned the Vedas, but one who has braided hair. Kitava means one who is completely bald. Those also are not eligible to eat in Shraddha Bhojanam. Manu is telling that. And the last sloka I want to finish today is this. Chikitshan Devalakan Mamsa Vikriyanastasta Vipanena Cha Jivanto Varjayaha Shuhur Havyakavyayoho. Chikitsan Devalakan Mamsa Vikriyanastata Vipanena Cha Jivanto Varjayaha Shuhu Havyakavyayoho. So again, for doing the Havyas and the Kavyas, the Deva and Pitru Karmas, Varjay means exclude these people. What are the 4 groups he's adding is Chikitsan, one who is doing medical profession. You should not call him as much as possible for eating in Shraddha Bhojanas. He can eat in his own house Bhojana, that is different. But don't, even if he's a Brahmina, as far as possible, right now I'm not a practicing doctor, but if I'm a practicing doctor, I'm not be eligible according to Manu. Chikitsans are not allowed to eat in Shraddha Bhojanas. Devalakan means actually people who are doing Vigraha worship in temples. Unfortunately, now only we have got those people to come and eat Shraddha Bhojanas. Devalakan means who are constantly doing Vigraha worship, because very important. When you do Pitru Karmas, you can't go and do Deva Karmas right away. You have to do so much Prayashchittam to go and do Deva Karmas. That's why Manu is putting that group. One who is always worshipping in the temple, doing this idol worship in the temple, they are also not ideal people. And then Mamsa Vikriyan means one who sells meat. Obviously, he's not going to, he's not even a Brahmina if he's selling meat, but one who sells meat. And Vipanena Cha Jivanto, one who is always doing trade, is always selling and buying, export, importing, all those things. So those are also not ideal persons for Havya Kavyo. So in the first 4 he gave, he gave those group, the Stena, Padita, Kliba, Nastika Vrittayo. Next he gave Jatilam, Anadiyanam, Durbalam, Kitavaham. And now he's giving another 4 categories: Chikitsan, Devalakan, Mamsa Vikriyan, and Vipadena Cha Jivanto means one who lives by trading. These are also ones who are to be excluded in the Havya Kavyas. So with that, I'm going to stop staring the screen. And I'm going to just quickly give a summary, which is much well explained in the Smriti Mukta Phalam. The Smriti Mukta Phalam, as you know, is composed by Vaidinath Dikshidhar, and he has put it in 7 volumes. He has collected all the information from all the Puranas, all the Dharma. Manu Smriti is only one Smriti. There is Parasara Smriti, there is Yama Smriti, there is Vyasa Smriti, there is Narada Smriti. He has collected information from all the Smritis, all the Puranas, from the Vedas. He put it in one place. It's called Nibandham. Nibandham means where all the Dharma Shastras are collected from different sources and put it in one place. There are several Nibandhas, but for South Indians, Vaidyanatha Dikshitiyam is considered important. For North Indians, Nyaya Sindhu by Kamalakara Bhatta is considered important. So here, very nicely, he says, so this is from the Uttara Bhaga of the Shraddha Kanda of Smriti Mukta Phalam. Atayeva Chagalayoho Sarvalakshana Samyuktair Vidyashila Gunan Vitaihi Purushatraya Vikyatais Sarvam Shradam Prakalpayetiti Yamo api Purameva Parikshete Brahmanan Vedaparagan Sharira Prabhoiri Doshai Suddhamsha Charitavratan Sharira Prabhava Doshaha Kushta Apasmaraka Adayah Tadrahitan Pitamahad Arabhya Bojaniya Brahmaniya Paryantam Parikshete Artaham. So he's quoting two rishis, Chagaleya and Yamadharmaraja also is quoting. According to Chagaleya Rishi, Sarva Lakshana Samyuktair means one who has all the good lakshanas of a Brahmana, Vidyat, who knows all the knowledge, Sheelam has good qualities, and Gunan, all the good characters. Sheelam is actually all the acharams, and Gunan is the good qualities. So one who is having all the good qualities of the Brahmin, who is well learned, one who is following all the Sheelams, all the purities, and one who also has good qualities, that is the ideal Brahmin. Sarva Lakshana Samyuktair Vidya Sheelam Gunan Vitaihi. You should try to choose such a Brahmana. Purushatre Vikyatai Sarvam Shradam Prakalpetiti. Not only that, try to examine his father, his grandfather, means ideally if all three are good, it enhances the benefit of your Shraddam. What Yamadharmaraja says is, Yamo api Purma eva Parikshete Brahmanan Veda Paragan. So Yama also tells the same thing as Manu. Purvam eva Parikshete Brahmanan Veda Paragan. First, choose a Brahmin who is well learned, who knows the Veda Paragan, means who knows the end of the Vedas. You should know that Brahmana and examine him before you choose him. Also, Manu, he adds a couple of things. Sharir Prabhavair Doshai Suddhamcha Sharita Vratan. That Brahmana should also not have bad diseases in him. Shuddham, he should be very pure. And Charita Vratan means Charita means he follows all the vratas. Ekadasi Vrata, whatever the vratas, he's following all these vratas properly. So one who has no big bad diseases in him, one who is pure, and one who is following all the vratas, those are the Brahmanas you should choose for the doing the Shraddha Karmas. That's what this is, because it comes from the Shraddha. It is specifically Yama's instruction how to choose people, Brahmanas. And he gives examples. He just gives some, when you say bad disease, can you give me examples of bad disease? Kushtam, leprosy. Obviously, you're not going to call a leper in your house. And you can definitely help lepers, but you're not going to call them and feed them in Shraddha Bhojanas. Helping leprosy is very good. In fact, Shani will be very pleased. If you're having Shani doshas, go and help lepers. Shani will be very pleased about it. But you're not going to call a leper and put him in the middle of the house for Shraddha Bhojana. And apasmara means one who has severe epilepsy, all those. So he's giving examples. So don't choose that. Then he says, again, now Vaidyanatha Dikshita actually quotes entirely Manu here. Ashotriyo va ashotriya pita yasya putrashyad vedapargaha. Ashotriyo va putrashyad pita shad vedapargaha. Jayam samanayor vidyat yasya shad shotriya pita mantasam pujanartam tu satkara mitaro arhati iti. So again, he says, according to Manu, he says, if you have one whose father is learned, son is not learned, or son is learned, father is not learned, choose the one where the father is learned and the son is not learned. Try to choose him. And again, he says, Na brahmanam parikshete daivakarmani dharmavite pitre karmani tu prapte parikshete prayatnataha. So for daivakarmas, you don't need to do detailed examination. But for Pitru Karmas, you should better detail examine the Brahmanas who are coming to eat. But Vaidyanatha Dikshita adds, that doesn't mean for Deva Karman there's a blank check. You don't need to be that scrutinizing as you do for Pitru Karmas. That's what he adds in the next statement. Shotriya eva deyani havyakavyani dhaturbihi ahartamaya vipraya tasmai dattam mahaphalam ekaikimapi vidvamsam daive pitrena cha bhojet pushkalam phalamapnoti na amantranyana bahunapi Sahasrani Sahasranam Andrucham Etra Bunjate Ekastan Mantravid Vipraga Sarvan Arhati Dharmataha Jnana Utkristaya Deyani Kavyani Chavishimcha नैहस्तावश्रिग्दिग्धौ रुदिरेणैव शुद्ध्यतः यत्तेन भोजयेत् श्राद्धे बहुरुचं वेदपारकं शाकान्तकं वापि अध्वर्यं छन्दोगं वा समाप्तिकम् एष मन्यतमो यस्य भुञ्जीत श्राद्धमर्चितः पितॄणां तस्य तृप्तिः शाश्वती साप्तपौरुषी ब्राह्मणोऽशान् अनादीयान् तृणा अग्निरेव शाम्यति तस्मै कव्यं न दातव्यं न हि भस्मानि हूयते इति. So again it summarizes everything what Manu says. For choose the one, even if one learned person eats, it is equal to thousands of not learned persons eating. And then always choose a jnana utkrishta, one who is well learned, choose that person for giving the kavyan. You cannot wash blood with blood, the same slokas is quoting here. But now he is giving one important statement from Brihaspati. Devaguru Brihaspati says, Yadyekam bojayet shraddhe छंदोगम तत्र भोजयेत ऋषो यजुगुंषि सामानि त्रयं तत्र तु विद्यते अठेत पृथिवीं सर्वां सशैल वणकाननां यदि लभ्यते प्रत्यर्थे सामनाम अक्षरचिन्तकः सामनाम अक्षरचिन्तकः ऋषात् तृप्ति पिता यजुषात् पितामहः पितुः पितामहः साम्ना छन्दोगो ह अधिकस्ततः शातात बर्षि सेस भोजयेत् यस्तर्वाणां दैवे पित्रे च कर्मणि अनंतम अक्षयम चैव फलं तस्येति वेशुति इति. So he says here, Edyekam bhojayet, if you have to choose only one person to eat in your shraddham, choose a chandoga. Edyekam bhojayet shraddhe chandogam tatra bhojayet means chandoga means samaveda. One who knows the samaveda, choose that person. And he is giving the reason. Rusho Yajugumshi Samani, Trayam Tatrata Vidyate. One who knows the Samaveda well, the Rig Veda and the Yajur Veda resides in him automatically, it seems. Ateta Prithivim Sarvam, Sa Shaila Vanakananam. Brihaspati says, it is not a problem also if you have to roam around the whole earth. Atete Prithivim Sarvam, go around the whole earth. Sa Shaila Vanakananam, climb the mountains. Shailam means Maunam. Vanakananam means forest. Go around the world, go up to the top of the mountains, go search in the forest, try to get a chandoga for your Shraddha Karma. That's what he's trying to. And you will etite labhyate pitre samanam akshara chintakah. Once you get such a samavedi to eat in your Brahma, aksharam, the benefits is so much, so it is worth taking the efforts. That's what Brihaspati is telling in that sloka there. And I want to close with this last sloka from Yamadharma Raja, which is very nice. Yamadharma Raja gives a very nice summary here. Veda Vidyat Vedasnataha, Shotriya Vedaparagaha, Sa Dharmanirataha Shantaha, Kriyavantas Tapasvinaha, Tebhyo Havyam Kavyam Cha Prasangeva Pridiyete, E Somapa Virajasaha, Brahmajyaha Shantabuddhayaha, Bratino Nemastascha Rutukala Bigaminaha, पंचाग्नि अदीयानो यजुर्वेद विद एवच बहुवृच तिसौपर्णो त्रिमधुर्वार्तयो भवेत् त्रिनाचिकेतो विराज छन्दोगो ज्येष्ठसामगाः अथर्वशिको अद्येता सर्वं ते पंक्तिपावनाः. Pankti means one who purifies the entire. So if you're eating, let's say you go to marriage, 1,000 people are eating in the marriage. If one person eats, he actually purifies the all entire. Pankti Pavana means he purifies the entire people eating, it seems. That is called a Pankti Pavana, and he is giving the example. Who are all examples mean? Shotriya, Veda Paragaha, Veda Vrata. You should know the end of the Vedas and also be following all the Veda Vratas. That is one category. Sarva Dharma Nirataha, who follows all the Dharmas. Shanta, who is always peaceful. Kriyavantas, who always doing, Kriya means all the Yajnas and the Pujas. Tapasvina is doing all the Swadhyaya. So one who is following the Dharmas, one who is always peaceful, one who is following all the Anushtanas, and one who is doing all the Tapas, that is also a very good category. Tebhyo Havya Kavyam Cha Prasangeva Pridiyate. Try to choose such person for your Havyas and Kavyas. A Somapa means one who has drunk Soma Rasam, which means you have to do Soma Yagam to drink Soma Rasam. So one who has done Soma Yagam. Vi Rajasaha means without Rajogunam. Brahmajnaha Shanta Buddhayaha, one who knows the Brahmajnanam and who is always calm and peaceful. Bratino Nemastascha Rutukalabi Gaminaha Panchagni Api Adiyano Yajurveda with Evacha. So one who lives with his wife in the right time and who follows all the vratas and who does Panchagni Upasana and is well versed in the Yajurveda, that person is also very good to eat. Bahuvricha. And this is specifically in the Rig Veda, even if they don't know the whole Rig Veda, there is called Trisuparna mantra. One who knows Trisuparna mantra, Trumadu, Trisauparna, Trumadu Varta. So one who knows the Trisuparna mantra and Trumadu mantra, that also is very good. Nachiketo, who knows the Nachiketo, the Nachiketo Vedam is mentioned in Kathopanishad. Virajas Chandogo, Jeshta, again he says, one who knows the Jeshta Samam in the Chand, in Sam. So he's giving little bit. You don't need to know the entire Samaveda, but if you know the Jeshta Sama in Samaveda, that is also good enough. If you don't know the entire Rig Veda, but if you know the Trisuparna mantra and Trimuvarna mantra, they are also good people. So he's making little less category. Who are the next choices? Atharva Shirakuso, Atharva Shirasu Adyeta, Sarve Te Pantipavanaha. So there is some mantras called like Ganapati Adharva Shisham, there is Shiva Atharva Shisham, though all those, there is Narayana Upanishad, those are all called Atharva Shishas. So those are all the top of the Atharva Vedas. One who knows all those Atharva Shika mantras is also a Pankti Pavana. And then Shishubi Agnihotri cha, Nyaya Vishatanka with Manta Brahmana Vivischaiva, Yajnesha Dharma Paragaham, Brahmadeya Sutaischaiva, Bhava Shuddha Sagasradaham, Chandrayana Vratacharata, Satyavadi Purana with Nishnada Sarva Vidyasu, Shanto Vigada Kalmashagam, Guru Deva Agni Pujasu, Prasanno Jnana Tatparaham, Vimukta Sarvada Diro, Brahmabhuto Dvijotamaha, Na mitro naivacha ma na amitro maitra atmavidevacha snatako japanirataha sada pushpa balipriyaha rujur murdugu shami dantaha shanta satyavrataha shuchi veda sarvagnya vedagnya sarva shastragnya upavasa parayanaha. So vedagnya sarva shastragnya upavasa parayanaha grihasto brahmacharicha chadurvid vedacha. So these are all the other categories is giving. Basically, if you look through those categories, some of them will tell you should be well learned. Some of them will tell you should be following all the upavasas. Some of them will be telling that you should be full of good qualities. So he's basically repeating all these. And na mitro cha amitro. He doesn't use the word ari. Neither a friend nor an enemy. You should choose that kind of a person to come and do the things like that. So basically, he ends that. And so these are all the qualities that Yamadharma Raja is giving. But these are all, again, we talked about this Manusmriti, but everything comes only after Manusmriti. But I want to say that all the Smritis are kind of giving the same information in a different format. So this is how you are supposed to choose Brahmanas to do Havyas and Kavyas at your home. If you are able to choose that kind of a Brahmana and do it, then like I said, there is Iha Palam and Pretya Phalam. Iha Palam means you will get benefit right in this earth and you will also get benefit right after your death. So that's with that I will finish the topic here. Kantaya Kalyanadede Etinam, Shri Venkata Nivasaya, Srinivasaya Mangalam, Mangalam Koshalendraya Mahiniya Gunatem, Chakravarti Tanu Jaya, Sarvabhaumaya Mangalam.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jambunathan. Extremely well detailed. And for those who are practicing the Shabdas here in this country, it's very useful to know these kind of details out there. Anyway, more questions we'll do. Let us first finish off with our Mangalam and then we'll go from there.
मंगलम गुरु श्री चंद्रमौलीश्वर के शक्ति गणपति शारदाम्बिके शंकराचार्यर के शक्ति गणपति महागणपति शारदाम्बिके के काल भैरव के काली दुर्गै के वीर धीर शूर हनुम मारुति चरणतिके मल्लिकार्जुन के चल्व जनार्दन के अंबा भवानी कंबद गणपति चंडी चामुंडी के श्री कृष्ण भगवान के श्री चक्रवासिनी के सीताराम लक्ष्मण सहित मारुति चरणति के வித்யாரண்யருக்கே வித்யாசங்கரர்க்கே வாகீஸ்வரிக்கே வஜ்ரதேக கருட ஆஞ்சநேயருக்கே ஸ்ரீவள்ளி தேவ சேனா சமேத சுப்பிரமணியருக்கே துங்கபத்ரைக்கே ஸ்ருங்கநிவாசினிக்கே ஸ்ருங்கேரி புரியில் நிலைத்திருக்கும் எங்கள் சாரதாம்பிகைக்கே சச்சிதானந்த சிவ அபிநவ நிருசிம்ஹ பாரதிக்கே ஸ்ரீ சந்திரசேகர பாரதி குரு சார்வபௌமருக்கே ஸ்ரீ சந்திரசேகர பாரதி குரு வித்யா தீர்த்தருக்கே ஸ்ரீ சந்திரசேகர பாரதி குரு பாரதி தீர்த்தருக்கே ஸ்ரீ சந்திரசேகர பாரதி குரு விதுஷேகர பாரதிக்கே மங்களம் குரு ஸ்ரீ சந்திரமௌலீஸ்வருக்கே சக்தி கணபதி சாரதாம்பி சங்கராச்சாரியருக்கே சக்தி கணபதி மகாகணபதி சாரதாம்பிகைக்கே ஸ்ருங்கேரி புரியில் நிறைந்திருக்கும் எங்கள் சாரதாம்பிகைக்கே.
Thank you all. Thank you for the